Yo, I'm back with the hat. What's up, goblins? My name is Chase, and first things first, I'm just going to give some disclaimers. This is our experience with subsystems, and we are not really a normal case of DID. We're a little bit more, I guess I'd say, severe than the norm, and really, really complex. So do not take this as the normal experience with subsystems, because we are really structured, let's say. There's a lot that goes on. Yeah, and it's really difficult to describe all of it sometimes. And I'm gonna try to describe it over knitting and some questions that you guys asked us, because half the time we can't even speak about things unless we're directly asked about them, because that's how our brain has kind of hidden things away from us. And yeah, sometimes it takes a little bit of external prodding to actually be able to speak, which is why we always like say, hey, leave your questions down below, because sometimes we need that. And so yeah, if you're following along with the hat, at this point you can take, you tied this off to start the hat. Now you can loosen it and let it just chill out, because now you can have like some extra room to work. Yeah, this is what you're going to be tying off in a little bit here, but not quite yet. So I might as well just get started on these questions. Yeah, again, my name is Chase. I am an alter inside of Liberty. I bet you guys didn't see that one coming. Yeah, it's kind of funny because first question being, how did you figure out you were in a subsystem, not just another alter in the main system? It was more the other way around. We're like, how did Liberty find out that I existed? Because I knew I was there for a long time, and I have been blocking out Liberty's memories for a long time. And I'm really proud of myself for that, because I have done a lot of things that would be really hard to block out, but I did it. And Liberty has no idea why people just like chase after him, hence my nickname, because I'm the one who causes the chase. Yeah, Liberty found out because I made myself known. That's how he found that out. He found out that he was a subsystem in general because he kind of had like, it was literally like finding out you have DID all over again, except for it's just an alter having this experience instead of the host. Straight up, it was just like that. And Liberty was having all these existential crises. At first he was having like a gender identity crisis. Turns out we've got a female alter. Yeah. Does your subsystem have its own inner world, and what's it like? Yeah, so this is pretty interesting. So, you know how alters have the inner world to go to when they're not in control of the body. Same thing with subsystem alters, except for it's a little bit more layered down, for us at least. The insides of the subsystems aren't as like crisp and clear as the regular inner world. So where I am when I'm not in control of Liberty's body, I am basically in this really kind of foggy few city blocks. And there really isn't much there. It's kind of like a ghost town. We all feel kind of ghosty. I try to stay away from the other alters because I don't really care. I'm like the... I'm the not so nice one of the subsystem, I guess. I don't know if I'd classify myself as a persecutor. I don't know. But I have really let Liberty take the fall on some of these memories. Man, I should not be smiling about this, but I am. Because it takes some serious time and work to be able to get such amnesia going and be able to block things out. You see, you lose the hooks for these all the time. Is it in my pants folds? No, it's not. Is it under me? I don't think so. I just had it. It's not in the book. There it is. It's in the bucket. Why was it in the bucket? I don't even remember putting it there. But yeah, can you get to the main inner world? This is pretty interesting because yes and no. I can't just directly, like, you know, instead of going into that fuzzy, foggy city blocks, just be like, oh, I'll just go and hang out in the West or whatever. I have to go and be fronting in Liberty's body, and then I can go do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want in the inner world, and I've done a lot of things. Why are you there? What's your role? So I'm basically an alter that would do a lot of things that Liberty would not. I don't have the same set of morals. I have different strengths, different thought processes, different way of going about the world, I guess. And that was very valuable. You see, Liberty is part of this kind of essentially secret society of our inner world. And I am part of a higher level than him. And I was created for that purpose, specifically to be part of that. And so were a few other alters like me. Except I'm the one who really does a lot of the work. The other alters kind of not so much. They kind of just, I don't really know what they do. I don't really pay attention to what they do. I don't really care because it's not me that's fronting, so I don't really care. I know that sounds really rude, but whatever. How do subsystems occur? Does a subsystem appear after the host had trauma from outside or inside? So subsystems can occur, usually it's just trauma in general. It can be trauma via, you know, just recurring events or events that happen later on in life, or heavy levels of stress. Like extreme stress can sometimes cause alters to split more. It really depends on the individual and the system anyway, because sometimes it's not that hard. Like once you have subsystems, it's not that hard to develop more, kind of how it is with regular alters. But the subsystem doesn't just appear after the host has had trauma from the outside or inside. It could be either, really. It's not really a specific cause. There isn't like one cause for a subsystem. It's kind of just like really, you know, complex things where the brain is highly overwhelmed. And yeah, sometimes it can be created by other alters too. Other alters can really hurt other alters in the inner world, and we're gonna make a video about that. Like, people don't talk about this a lot, but alters totally can hurt other alters to the point of them splitting on the inside into subsystems, and that's a thing. I don't know if that's exactly what happened to us, but Liberty has like a traumatic childhood backstory. He's been in the system for a long time, like kind of growing up as like a NPC type until he hit a certain age, and then he was more active, and during that time, it was not good. Yeah, does Liberty's appearance change at all when you front? Yes, it looks like how I look in the inner world, or the second inner world. The inner world, I suppose. Yeah, it basically just looks, I'm a little bit taller than him. My hair is a little bit of a different shade of blonde and a different consistency a little bit. My hair's a little longer. Yeah, I don't wear glasses. My vision is good, or like balanced properly. His vision is just really messed up. And yeah, it just looks like me when I front, and then when I go back in, it just basically goes back to Liberty. It's kind of hilarious. And then he just acts all confused. He's just like, oh God, where was I? And he has no idea that I was out. I've got really good amnesia skills. Like, I'm actually seriously proud of this. Too proud of this, honestly. Probably because most people just think of me as this chaotic thing who causes nothing but chaos. But, you know, I got skills. I can do things. Yeah, are you all similar to each other or very different? We're, I guess, kind of like relatives. You could sort of see us being like relatives or cousins of each other. We're pretty similar, not super similar, but not super different. Like we all kind of look, we're all a bunch of like blondes of various shades, and yeah, we look vaguely similar to him. We have kind of, aesthetics almost, like sort of themes to subsystems, kind of like the energy of the one altar kind of projects onto the whole subsystem. And it's kind of like, it resembles vaguely the vibe of the other altar, but it's clearly something else. Yeah, how close are you to your subsystem members? Not as close as siblings, I'd say. Like, we're pretty, like, sort of like cousins, I guess. I don't really like to spend time with any of them. I think it's just boring in the inner world, and I like to be out in the main inner world. But that doesn't happen very often. So I kind of just stick to myself. Is it possible for subsystems to experience amnesia differently? Yes. Yeah, it depends on how the subsystems are working in relation to how the whole system is working. Some will have better communication than others. Some will have more severe amnesia than others, like total blackouts when they switch. Liberty basically feels like he's in a fog. It's basically like he's in the in-between, kinda. And, yeah. It really can vary. Like, we have different types of amnesia for different types of subsystems, because, there's a kind that's an altar within an altar, and there's a kind where it's just a group of altars that's separated from the others, say by, like, cities or planets, or, the main inner world planet, and then us with everything in space. There's so much in space. Is it hard to be in a subsystem since up until recently you were hidden away from a lot of altars? Not really. It was kind of fun being like all stealthy for a while there. It's more hard being seen and trying to figure out how to speak and interact with people out here, because I definitely cannot act how I acted in the inner world out here. That does not fly by Earth's social standards at all. That would be terrible. Yeah, so it's a little bit hard. It's a little bit of an adjustment period, but I think I'm getting the hold of it. I mean, I'm really bad at slang, but whatever. What's it like having two inner worlds? Does your role change from inner world to inner world? Not really. I'm kind of like gatekeeper-ish to my own memories, really, when I'm just not fronting. I kind of just hold those away from everybody else, and I don't really do much. But yeah, when I'm in the regular inner world, I'm basically like an errand boy for Cleveland, and that's pretty fun. He sends me on a lot of interesting missions in the inner world. A lot of like going and collecting something or fixing something, and I get to ride really fast motorcycles, and it's really great. And then out here, I don't know what I am. I do not know what you'd call me. I feel like I'm too aggressive. Does that mean I'm a protector? Does that mean I'm a persecutor? I mean, I'm not very friendly, I don't think. I try to be sociable, but I don't know how sociable I actually am. It's hard to tell, because in the inner world you can kind of tell how people are thinking about you a little more clearly. Like you can communicate telepathically to some people. Like I can't communicate to people telepathically very strongly if I'm in the inner world, but if I'm fronting in Liberty's body, then I can talk to basically everyone whenever, but I usually choose not to. Yeah, does your subsystem have a name? We've been thinking about calling it the Revolving Door Subsystem after Gorillaz' song, because we really connect with that band. Like the first thing I did when I was fronting, the first song I claimed was Aries by Gorillaz, and that's kind of like my song. and it's really awesome. Yeah, do you switch in the inner world? I feel like we've covered that. Yeah, we do, but it looks different. It looks like he's kind of changing into someone a little bit taller, and then it's me. And then I kind of just like vanish, and he kind of just goes back to regular. And that's that. Is it difficult for you to front because you need to front twice? So yeah, like right now, am I in control of Liberty's body? Sort of, like halfway. Like he can't really see the same in both eyes. This is something we do in this body too, is someone is co-conscious but doing something completely unrelated to what the host is doing. And usually it's like some co-conscious dissociation thing. And that's kind of what I'm doing. Like Liberty's kind of, you know, spacing out right now, just hanging out at his bar where he hangs out in the inner world, and he's not paying any attention to how he can't really see that well out of his right eye. It's just kind of sneaking past the radars. A lot of us do that. A lot of us fragments who are there for purposes, like we caught this really interesting switch on camera that we're debating putting on YouTube because people are going to be like, you're just chasing clout. And it's like, this actually happens in life regardless of whether or not the phone is recording in front of me. I do way worse shit than I do on camera, like in the regular world. We tone it down so much for the camera, guys. You have no idea. Yeah, my job is very fighty. I do a lot of fighting. It's basically like the kind of errand boy the guy in Assassin's Creed is. Yeah. So fronting, it's a little bit difficult. Yeah, it's more complex for me. Is fronting easy or hard? Hard. It's hard, and it's kind of hard to ground myself really well out here. I'm made more so for the regular inner world, but also out here for like once in a blue moon. I'm not meant to be a regular fronting altar, but I'm, I guess, becoming that, and it's pretty fun. It's kind of just like, you know, exercising, and you have to kind of build up strength fronting for long periods of time. And sometimes that doesn't work. It's really case by case. I can't really say one statement that would cover everything for DID because everyone's case is for something completely different. Like your system formed to help you deal with something that was completely different than what we dealt with. It's all relative, really. Are you able to move around independently in the regular inner world? Yeah, yes I am, and it's awesome. Yeah, I can move around independently, I can interact with other altars, I can have relationships with other altars, which makes it difficult because Liberty is in a relationship, and that's complicated. Really complicated. Because I already have kind of a thing going on in the inner world, but now it's like, oh, is this ethical? Should I stop? I don't know. I'm gonna have to talk to Daniel. This is gonna probably be something we cover in the whole relationships with DID because, you know, some altars are dating subsystems and others aren't. How do you organize yourselves? We don't organize ourselves, personally. Our subsystem, personally, doesn't organize itself. Cleveland organizes it for us. He's kind of our manager in a way. He's the one that runs basically how a lot of the main inner world is structured and goes, but he doesn't really control out in space. His reach is mostly just the Vanaheim, the main planet, and then out in space, it's more so Terrence. Yeah, how do you organize yourselves? Yeah. I'm the one who's throwing up amnesia barriers. I feel like I'm doing the exact opposite of that. Like, how does communication work? When I feel like it. It's very when I feel like it. I don't really give a lot of communication to Liberty because I just don't roll that way. I don't want him to know a lot of the things that I do. I don't want to talk to him. I just don't don't really know why. I just feel kind of repelled from him. It's probably just some conditioned response or whatever. But it do be like that sometimes. Can you talk to others outside the subsystem? Yeah, sometimes. It's really hard though. It's like going through a really bad radio reception. But when I'm out in the regular inner world, it's just normal, like I'm a normal alter instead of a subsystem alter. How much do you switch per day? It's more so how much do I switch per week, really. I'd say once or twice a week. Sometimes. Though sometimes I don't front for like weeks at a time. Like I've been in the system since we were in high school. Since we were like 16, now 5. A lot earlier than we're willing to admit. Yeah, this is how it's been going for a long time. Like sometimes I'll just go dormant for a while because there's nothing going on in the outer world that really relates to anything I have to do. So I'm just, basically asleep. And it's pretty cool. It's nice being able to just glide through things. It's funny because, the main people are all like, my God, why can't we have amnesia? Where is the amnesia in the DID? And I'm just over here like, what happened these past few months? I wasn't even around for that. I love it. I love being able to dodge things. I've used Liberty as a human shield for dodging a lot of trauma in the inner world. Boy, did I. And that was one of Liberty's defining memories too, was the thing that I shoved him out to take so I could dodge that. It's kind of given him quite a few existential crises because he's like, if that's defining me, who am I? And I'm like, shut up. Chill out. People need to calm down in this system, I swear. Do certain alters in the subsystem hold trauma that the body experienced? Yes. Some subsystem alters can be created to hold specific memories like that. Like the memory is too much, like a specific memory is too much for an alter to handle. And so the alter can fragment more and section off more and then kind of isolate that memory into a separate alter, like a less complex alter, I suppose. But they can become more complex over time because I've been here a long time and I think I've gotten pretty complex over that time. I don't know if I'm similar to anyone in the system or not. I can't tell. Yeah, I can't tell. We've been having a lot of existential crises lately, but we'll get to that in a post-integration video. We're going to do a post-integration Q&A video. I don't know if we should get Dorian to do that or if someone should just answer on behalf of him, but we'll figure it out. How to handle information flow to others. Yeah, that one kind of varies by system as well, because it depends on what you hold. Because some subsystem alters may hold something like, just a very strong emotion, and that's whenever you're ready to process that. Whenever the collective is ready to handle whatever you got, really. I've been, feeding gradually some of the stuff that I've done. Not giving away my full story yet to my system. I'm making them wait. I'm being a real jerk about it, too. It's fun. Yeah. It's basically whenever it feels like the collective is ready to handle what you got. And then, you can try your best to get communication going, but it kind of has to be mutual. You have to find someone who's able to really communicate with these subsystem alters. It might be someone outside of your system, like our partner system has been really helpful for all this because, they will say oh, this happened the other day, and we're like, no, it didn't. And they're like, yes, it did. And it was supposed to be one altar that was fronting, but it clearly wasn't them. And sometimes that happens, like, you know, if Diane is out and does something instead of Dante, like, we'll have a lot of amnesia around that, but our partner system will know and kind of tell us, like, oh, they did this and this the other day. Like, they watched that movie and ate dinner, and it was good, and that's helpful. They really help us know what's been going on. Can you describe... Oh, yeah. This is a... I feel like we just use language really weirdly. I'm just gonna drink this real quick. Yeah, these heating systems in our house of the air kind of dry your sinuses out a little bit in the winter. Yeah, someone was asking, can you describe an altar within another altar? So, yeah, an altar within another altar. So basically just like an altar who has DID themselves. An altar who is an altar's altar. a mini case of DID within a system. Kinda. That's what it was like for us, kind of. Pretty much. It's like an altar that is sometimes too much for the rest of the system to handle and has to be hidden behind another altar to tone him down. And that's kind of how I roll. An altar has to be, you know, kind of restrained in order to, you know, keep the balance of the system. Yeah, hey, that works. Someone asked, how do you find balance? Yeah, knowing when to not front, in my case, because I am a piece of work and I cause a lot of problems in the inner world. Like, I blow up buildings and stuff and crash vehicles into things and set things on fire, like towns on fire, start forest fires, big things like that. So yeah, now you see why I say I can't do what I do in the inner world out here. I'm not gonna do that. This world's got enough problems as it is, like, Jesus. Yeah, I don't really feel like doing any crimes out here because we really have everything we need. So I'm just kind of vibing, I guess. How do you find balance is trying to find a good balance within your own subsystem as well as taking into account the other system. I don't really know. That's what Cleveland does. He's all just like, you know, thinking about, oh, how is this balance going? Have you been fronting too much? And how is everyone else doing? And who's fronting regularly out here? Like, what are the zones that are people that are fronting? Because generally it kind of goes by region. Like, don't you freaking switch with me, I swear. We got a text from our partner system, from an altar that one of our altars is very interested in, and I'm not letting him out. I'm almost done with these questions. How do you find balance? I guess trying to interact and coexist with the other altars as best as you can, and then, you know, not keeping things away from them as much as it's fun to. It's like a game of keep away. It's really fun. Yeah, where does Liberty go when you front? This one's pretty interesting because he doesn't go into our regular inner world, like this foggy city blocks. He doesn't go there. Where he goes is kind of like white and foggy, and he's basically just like in a void of nowhereness, like in between, kind of like a ghost almost, just kind of on autopilot, I suppose. He just kind of hangs out there. I don't really know why he doesn't go into the regular inner world. Oh, right, yeah. It's because if he would go into the regular inner world, then he would know he's a subsystem. And that's how you can keep things hidden from a lot of people. That's probably what a lot of altars do to their hosts, is because if you're going into this inner world that's helping you avoid these traumatic experiences, then you're gonna know, like, right off the bat, like, oh, I've got these other people who can just pop right out, like, whatever. And then there wouldn't be that whole host not knowing thing that's pretty important. Like, it kind of helps you keep everything together when it's, like, you know, the trauma times. And once you're free, you can kind of just be like, whatever, and front and make videos and knit hats, I guess. I really did not do much progress on this. Whatever. Yeah, do you have access to the system's shared memory or just liberties? I have access to some of the system's shared memories, kind of like a regular altar does, and that varies by altar, really. Like, not all the altars have access to all the memories, but I do have access to, you know, just a good enough amount of the general memories to get kind of an idea of what it's like out here and what to generally expect. Like, you know, we live in this house, we've got all these cats. We're on YouTube and stuff. We deliver stuff as a job. Just pretty fun so far. I'm digging it. Yeah, it's kind of like right up along what I do. I'm like a delivery boy sometimes, and it fits. Do you have different levels of reality, being an altar of an altar, than hitting the body's reality? Yeah, so kind of like, you know, it feels less real as you get into the deeper inner worlds? Yeah, because the one that's in Liberty's head feels super foggy. Oh my god. Okay, DID moment. You see over here, this little picture of Liberty. It's got all those boxes coming out of his right eye. I wonder if that's symbolic for a subsystem. You know, you look back on all these art things that we've done over the years, and you see a lot of blatant signs of these things that we're encountering and struggling with now. And people are all like, oh, you're making this up. And I'm like, dude, it's in the history. This has got 2017 written on it, and I had no idea this was going to be an issue until 2021, you know, kind of a thing. It's really funny because it's been there. It's all been there. That's why we're totally not selling some of our art pieces, but others of our art pieces, like, whatever, we totally will. But others are kind of like secrets. And, yeah, like another one we have around. We're gonna have to do a video about DID and art. If you guys just want us to do a, yeah, if you guys want us to do like a random painting tour where we just walk around the house and talk about what the paintings mean, drop some, I don't know, what emojis should we put down there? Avocados. Drop the avocado emoji if you want to see an art tour. Avocados for art. Do it for the memes. I do enjoy a good meme. I share some of Liberty's traits, but I don't really care that much about, you know, spending a lot of time on like Facebook or Instagram or whatever. I kind of like to be out in this regular world doing stuff, like delivering things, driving around, that kind of thing. So I like to front for work sometimes or for going places. And, oh yeah, well, there's a couple more talking about someone else's experiences in comparison to ours. I was in a subsystem for 2 years, and I've been moved into the main system. It was really hard. Any advice? So we've had this happen too. Altars from the subsystem being permanently moved out of the subsystem into the regular inner world as a regular altar. And it's kind of like, that can be done, but for us, someone has to pull the altar out. Someone has to basically reach in to the other altar's head and pull the other altar out. That's what happened with Devin's whole subsystem when that was going on. Like, his face would kind of just start like glowing, and then someone could reach in to the forehead and it would just be like the platform 9 3/4 in Harry Potter. Like, it would go right through. And then people could just be pulled out, you know, if they reached up and jumped into just the right spot and reached just right there. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that opportunity. I hope so. I hope so. That'd make my life so much easier. I could just like not even bother with being a subsystem alter. Like, for crying out loud, like the main inner world is kind of going on like not main focus anymore. Like, we're being able to look up into space now and go to the other land masses. There's like a few others, but those are the other type of subsystems where everyone is far away from us on floating chunks of land in outer space. Yeah, Logan's family comes from one of those. Yeah, we've got alters with families. We also want to, Jormungandr wanted to make a video on that because he's kind of got like a family and they're all kind of named after Norse gods. And Fenrir's his half-brother. Yeah, he wanted to talk about familial relationships in systems and how alters can be siblings and stuff. I thought that'd be pretty cool, but on getting moved into the main system, I guess kind of focus on like, you know, doing those things you wanted to do when you were a subsystem alter that you couldn't do, like, you know, go to a place in the inner world or talk to another alter that you wanted to talk to, or find a place for yourself to exist in, like kind of make yourself a cool place that makes you feel comfortable. Because in the inner world you can kind of like visualize things and kind of use willpower to sometimes almost like conjure things in the inner world, but that doesn't necessarily always work, and not all alters can do that. Like, I can't really do that very well. Like, if I'm, say, in the inner world and I wanted to conjure up, say, a soda, I could do that. But if I wanted to conjure up, say, a dog, I don't think I could do that, because that's a complex other life form that's, you know, really complex. I don't think I'd be allowed to do that. Yeah, it depends. Yeah, I've got a lot of rules attached to me. It's kind of a pain, but at the same time, you can have fun with it. Like, I make it look like it's all a good old time, making it difficult for other alters, but it's pretty rough. Because I'm hiding things both that happened out here and on the inside. And on the inside, there is a lot more room for possibilities. Like, you can't tell things to not happen in the inner world, really. We've had wars during history courses before. Like, literally, cities of alters going to war with each other during a college course, and we're trying to take notes on art history. It happened. Straight up. But, yeah, I guess try to make yourself feel at home and do those things that you couldn't do. That's what I'd want to do. And then I'd like to hear about your emotional experience. Personally, for me, I have an alter out of subsystems and different alters inside that. It's distressing to feel so fragmented. Yeah, distressing to feel fragmented. Yeah, personally, yeah, how do I deal with that emotionally? I guess I'm kind of annoyed that I have to be behind Liberty to exist. I would like to be fully autonomous. That'd be nice. Kind of like glaring internally like, Cleveland, can I be removed? Is it possible? Will you let me out? I really hope so. I find it really annoying that I'd have to, like, you know, conform to other expectations. But yeah, I feel like we haven't really settled as a subsystem as, like, you know, like, this is how things are. Like, I'm still learning out here on how to exist. This is like, what, the third or fourth time I've fronted in this body that I've been made known. Yeah, I've fronted many times before, but I haven't told anyone that. Not even the system, not until now. Not until I just said that on camera. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things we kind of talk through things and discover things ourselves as we're speaking, because we're, given these pathways that release memories, and it's pretty awesome. Sometimes you have to talk through things for them to be actually given back. Like, some of us have to find their names again. Like, my name's not actually Chase, it's just a nickname. But I know my name. It's been a name that our mind has been sitting on. Like, our brain reserves names for a long period of times and will not let anybody else take that name. For example, Riley. We just found out that we have an interject of someone named Riley. And our brain has just been like, you won't have anyone with that name as an alter until it's time to have that. You're like, oh, what do you think about naming that guy Riley? Nope, that wouldn't work. Why not? It wouldn't work. And that's just that. You just kind of have to go with it. A lot of rolling with it. And sometimes you don't want to roll with it, but there's no other choice but to roll with it, so you just roll. And that's how I have been going. I don't have a lot of control over a lot of this. I'm really a passenger in this situation. I'm a passenger trying to make it into a party bus. But I think it's about time I just make myself known and kind of start telling Liberty all the things that I've done. Maybe. Bit by bit. We'll see. We'll see. But it is a little bit distressing to feel so fragmented. I guess we find, comfort in the idea that, some alters can integrate and feel less fragmented in the future. Like, that's a possibility. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to happen, but it's not completely off the table. For example, like, we do not plan to integrate into one full fusion. Ethically and logically, I don't think that could happen. Physically, it could happen. It could physically happen if we got the proper therapist who would be willing to do that to us. But logically and ethically, I don't think we would become a final fusion. Just wouldn't really go good for our case. We're a little bit too differentiated and complex for that to really cleanly go back. So we take comfort in knowing that some alters can and will integrate. Like, Dorian, that went really good. And Phoenix, Felix, Ballista, and I don't know what subject M is going by now. I think they're going by subject Borealis. Yeah, I don't really talk to these people very much because I am anxious about how they feel about me. I kind of keep to myself a lot. Even in the inner world, I only have like a few people I really spend time with. One being another subsystem alter who is like my partner in crime. Yeah, his name is Boris. Yeah, as we get to the lower levels of alters that are really being hidden away, we've got more with Russian names. That has to do with a lot of what our family is. Our family is from Russia, basically. Yeah, Grandpa is straight up 100% Russian. I mean, he was. Rip Grandpa. My dad's half, so we're a quarter. That's the biggest of our nationality is Russian. And our relatives were really about that, too. So I feel like our family definitely had an influence on how our system works. I want to make a video more on the details about that, but it's really hard to speak through the rules that are put on this system as a whole. Like, you're not allowed to disclose things until a certain time and when everyone's ready. And it's a pain, but, that's DID. It's a bunch of hiding things from people. So yeah, just take comfort in the fact knowing you're not irreparable. That's not really a thing. Like, there's always room to grow. There's always something you can do. There's never nothing. And yeah, your fate isn't decided. You are the one to decide your fate, not what you are at any given point. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's about everything I had. Yeah, so things to know. God, what do I want to tell you guys? More art videos coming up. We've got that terrarium video we filmed. It's pretty sweet. We made some terrariums and filmed it. It was bomb. And yeah, I did some random arts and crafts. We'll do more things on art now. We're actually getting back into our art, which is great. It's comforting to see people are actually getting back into art. I was really worried for a second there. Excuse me. But yeah, check the description for things, links. Probably should have already checked for trigger warnings if you haven't already. Oops. Like, I'm gonna try to put a slide in the beginning of the video just saying vaguely what is things you should be prepared for. Oh man, I don't even know what we're gonna label this. I'm gonna let somebody else label that triggers. Yeah, check the description. We've got all our links to other social medias. If you want to send us mail, we've got the P.O. box. And yeah, if you want to become a goblin and join the Gob Squad, all you gotta do is hit that subscribe button. And like, you should probably ring the notification bell. That's kind of just gives you notifications on what we do. Like, if you're just subscribed, it doesn't give you notifications. That's kind of just what YouTube does these days, I guess. I don't know if it used to do that. I think it used to give you notifications when you subscribed, but now it doesn't. I don't know. It's weird. All this technology is advancing, and I'm just not fronting for years, and I'm like, oh wow, we've got fancy touchscreen now, but it's cracked right now. Oops. I forget who dropped that. I don't think it was me. I don't think so. But yeah, okay. Like and subscribe to support us, and leave comments is definitely another great way to support the channel. You guys give us lots of ideas for videos to do in the future and more things to add in. Like some questions really help us to, you know, put extra little bits of information that are actually really helpful to people into the videos, and we really do dig getting questions. Like, there's no stupid questions. Like, I swear, we've heard so many questions. It's just like, whatever, we don't really get offended by that. We kind of just know that people aren't born with the knowledge, and everyone starts somewhere. There's gonna be, you know, clunkily asked questions because you just don't know the language yet, and that's just how it be sometimes. So we kind of just don't really mind if questions are badly worded. Like, it's okay. We promise. Yeah. So I think that's all I had to say. Thank you for watching, and take care of yourselves, and hey, enjoy 2021. Make it whatever, you know, life is what you make it. Don't let your 2021 be your 2020. Oh God, yeah, let's not let that happen again. Whew. Yeah, take care of yourselves, goblins. Practice good adherence to your local ordinances. I guess. There's people that just don't even wear masks at all over here, and I'm just like, bruh. This is America. You need to be wearing those. Oh, please wear your masks if you're in America. Get this whole thing done with. Yeah. Let's leave that in 2020. I'm really dissociating now. Putting in that this would be a switch cut on camera at the very last minute of the video would be hilarious. Yeah, I've got plans, so yeah, this wasn't even my video to make. I don't know why he didn't wrap it up and stop talking. He's just been dissociating. Yeah, we'll have more Or yeah, if there's anything else you want to know about subsystem alters, if we didn't cover it, feel free to ask us in any comment section, really. Like here, we've got Instagram, we've got Facebook, but we don't really use it that often, but it is there. It is there. And I'll try to remember to put the link in the description. It might not be, but it will be in other videos. So if you guys want that, you'll be able to find it. Still co-conscious a little bit. Get away, now it's my time. Get. The struggle is real. Anyway, yeah, I kind of wanted to leave this little bit in just so you guys would see what would have happened after we stopped filming if we had stopped filming then. You know? Because this is our life. This is our life. Blankly stares at wall. It really is. It's like my eyes are really foggy. It's like a bunch of fog is being pulled back. Oh hey, yeah, this is an example of a subsystem alter switching and then a regular alter who is not the host of that subsystem taking over. Because I am on a separate continent, I think. I don't know those people. I don't spend a lot of time with Liberty. He would probably think I'm just something to avoid. A lot of the system does. But yeah, I've got kind of a headache on the left side, which is interesting because usually it's on the right. It kind of like swaps back and forth, but usually if it's alters who have, you know, more secretive purposes, it's usually the left side that hurts, which is interesting. It's weird. I really want brain scans. Someone scan my brain, please. I'd like to know what's going on in there. Anyway, we'll see you all in the next video.